All right, are we? I don't think we're up yet. Hold on. Maybe it's in a different window. There we go. We are up. Okay, good. I don't know why I thought that. That's so weird. Cool. There we go. Hit the like, everybody. Share the show. About ready to go. Now we're getting started. Now we're getting somewhere. What's happening? Mic is on. You guys are here. I'm here. Lights are on. Background looks all right. Space. Oh, the ChatGPT orb is up, but I'm not talking to the AI orb today. That's for later. That's for just Fridays. All right. Come on. There's chat room. Let's get started. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. So, there's a lot to this. Hold on, now that button doesn't want to work. Hold on. There's a lot to talk about today. Now the question comes. The question appears before us, ladies and gentlemen of the sparklers and of the interwebs and, of course, of the Megaworldwide cavalcade. Something. Anyways, you guys, you big bunch. The question comes along occasionally that says, how do you know when there's a story that you need to know? Let's see. Yeah, there we go. How do you know when it's time to move on? When a story is rustling its way through the news cycle, our ever shortening attention span, whatever that was, whatever and what have you at the same time. You're welcome. So how do you know when it's time to move on? That's the question. When a story has stayed too long and it's time to reinvigorate your audience and go, look, this story might be important, but it's really about a dopamine fix with a bunch of dipshits. And so in the name of all that is holy, meaning advertisers and clickbait, it's time to just, no matter how important the story is, it's done, and you just put it behind you because boredom is more important than justice, right? How do we know that that's the case? And in certain cases, like, how do you know it's not? How do you know that, like, wow, wait a minute, I gotta tell you, what? Maybe it's the biggest revelation's right around the corner, and you're this close to it. And if you just kept going a little bit further, you'd strike oil. You'd find diamonds. You'd find oil diamonds, liquid gold, which would, of course, drown you if you were down in a cave with a pickaxe. It's stupid. Anyways, how do you know it's important for the story to continue? How do you know, all right, I think we're on the right track here? Ratings and clickbait and super chats be damned. We will not have audience capture. We will dive into this issue and because it's important. And how do we know it's important? How do we know that we're up against the edge of the greatest thing that's possible to break through? This is how you know. When somebody like Alan Dershowitz puts out a video with this kind of a thumbnail, this is how you know it's time to dig a little deeper. This, ladies and gentlemen, if you need evidence of any sort that says, all right, I'm going to need some kind of a sign, Lord. Lord, in all of your graciousness, thanks for the clouds. They are so fluffy. Look down upon us and give us a sign as we wander through the desert of dipshittery, through the sands of sardonic stupidity, while the sunshine of shitstorm beats down upon us. Give us a sign, Lord, that we must continue to march forward. Thank you, Lord. I didn't need it to be this dumb. It could have been a little cryptic. You can trust me, I read a lot of philosophy. I could have put it together, but this will work. How to know you're not supposed to move on. Chapter 1. If Alan Dershowitz puts out a video that says we need to move on, the American public needs to move on from Jeffrey Epstein. The Dersh Show starring Alan Dershowitz. The Dersh Show starring Alan Dershowitz. The Dersh Show starring... look, I know I get a little carried away with the third person shit, but goddamn. Let's hear it from the guy who left his underwear on. Ladies and gentlemen, before we dive even deeper into a report that CBS just did on just how very specifically fucked the prison video was. Also, I would like to lay this out onto the floor and walk away from it, and we will deal with it, I have no doubt. Jeffrey Epstein, best friend of Donald Trump's, Mar-a-Lago buddy, blah, 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 gets arrested while Trump is president, dies in jail. Virginia Giuffre, victimized first at Mar-a-Lago when she was poached, according to Trump, by Jizz City Maxwell, and abused by Jeffrey Epstein for years. Trump's president again, and she dies allegedly by suicide. The two most vocal players, besides Ghislaine Maxwell, what I'm saying is, Ghislaine Maxwell, if you're listening, and I hope you're not, I would not take a cell with a bigger window, unless it's on the ground floor, in which case I would, like, sump grease through a 10-year-old goose. Just off you go. Now, we need to move on. Here is this is what he says. All right, let's check this chicanery out. Hold on, I gotta drag this out. There's so much news. It's silly. Okay, so this is the guy who was friends with Jeffrey Epstein for a long time, was his lawyer, can't legally speak about many of the other people involved, was never Bill Clinton's lawyer, was Trump's lawyer, so anything about Epstein or Trump, he's bound by attorney-client privilege to not talk about. Boy, isn't that fucking convenient. Okay. Okay, simmer the fuck down.
The Dersh Show.
The Dersh Show. I gotta tell you, just because there's an SH in your name doesn't mean start the word show starts with an SH. That works. Dersh Show sounds fucking stupid. I'm just gonna leave that there.
Things should be revealed. There should be no secrets. I've said from day one.
There should be no secrets. All right, well then, break attorney-client privilege and tell us all about your conversations about Epstein with Donald Trump and your conversations with Trump or with Epstein about Donald Trump.
There should be no secrets, and I hope...
No secrets whatsoever, says the guy with attorney-client privilege.
There are no secrets. My own view...
Oh, okay. How about this? Have somebody in your employ, because you won't know how to do it, plug a USB thumb drive into that printer and download everything that's been printed on it since you've owned it and drop it at a fucking bus station for somebody to find, like a Nine Inch Nails record.
Is that this case is nothing in comparison with some of the other big sex scandals that have been going on around.
Nothing. There's like 1,000 fucking victims. Now, you know why Dershowitz might think that this is a nothing story? Because he believes that the age of consent should be lowered to the age a girl gets her period. That's why. That's why. He doesn't think anyone was victimized by Epstein. No one. Or Ghislaine Maxwell. That's why he doesn't think this is a big sex scandal. For real.
In the world.
And, by the way, because it's not one of those scandals where there are two powerful people involved. You know, like Megyn Kelly being sexually harassed at Fox News, right? Where you got, two people who are, in the public eye being able to speak out about this kind of stuff. That's why. Fuck this dude.
And, we've had them in Paris, we've had them in Italy, we've had them in England, we've had many in the United States. This is, probably a 3 on a scale of 10, and yet.
Jesus Christ. 1,000 victims. A man with a private island that he could, we still don't know what the fuck happened there. The FBI evidence fucking vanished while Trump was president. Taken from the New York House. The sitting president partied with the motherfucker for 25 years. A 3. Tell me what you think is a 5, motherfucker. Oh my God. Try harder. Jesus.
You look at the headlines all over the country, and it's as if
as if these girls matter. What an obnoxious notion, eh, Dersh? What the fuck? Who makes a video like this?
The most important case there ever was. So, I don't get it. I don't get it.
Okay, let's just start with sex scandals between adults are a fucking wash. Unless there's a rape involved or sexual coercion or violence, it's nobody gives a shit. I don't give a fuck. My big beef with TMZ and Page Six and Access Hollywood and all these things, they'll crawl up a fucking, teen idol's ass because they have an alcohol problem because they've been in the public eye since they were in fucking diapers. But somehow they missed Cosby. Somehow they missed Weinstein. Somehow they missed Epstein. And somehow they missed Trump. They thought it was fucking cute. Somehow they missed you dumb motherfucker.
I guess the fact that it involves Trump is a very important element in it. And it also involves Bill Clinton, because we know Bill Clinton flew on his airplane.
Well, if it's a 3, who gives a shit? So Bill Clinton's involved in a sex scandal that's a 3, according to you. What was the Monica Lewinsky one? I bet you this motherfucker thinks it's a 5 or a 7 because he was the sitting president at the time when he was having the affair. Meanwhile, Trump is hiding possibly affairs with underage girls. And it's a 3. Shit.
Clinton acknowledged that. I've told you the story with me having dinner, my wife and I having dinner at Caroline Kennedy's house, and President Clinton was there, and he took a phone call, and the phone call was from Jeffrey Epstein. He then handed me the phone, and Epstein said hello to me and hung up, and that was the end.
He just said hello and hung up on you? Is this something Epstein used to do just to dick with you, Dersh? Nothing else was said between a man who's engaged in an active pedophilia and his lawyer.
End of that. So probably the reason, that the case has so much endurance is because at least we know it involved two presidents, one current, one former. We know that he knew.
Oh man, kids. The word is fucking kids. Kids, Dershowitz. God damn. I didn't think I could dislike this motherfucker more.
Bill Gates. We know that he knew Fidel Castro.
I don't give a fuck if he knew Fidel Castro. Did Fidel Castro go to the island and fuck kids? Then that's news.
He knew a great many prominent people.
This sounds like a wash. This sounds like a guy going, he knew everybody. What's the big deal if he knew me? A lot of people came to his house. I'm the one that stayed after it, got a massage, but I left my underwear on. It was an old lady, trust me, and there were no cameras in the place.
And that's probably why the story continues to happen.
No, it isn't. No, it fucking isn't. You know how I know this? Because the Kennedy affair Camelot, where as famously George Carlin said they should have called it Come-a-Lot because he came a lot, which involved Marilyn Monroe and myriads of other women, and the idea that the back medication that they had Kennedy on raised his libido and lowered his impulse control and all that stuff. And the dude was like fucking women behind Jackie's back in the White House, and his brother was involved in hiding it, and the theory that maybe they had Marilyn killed or somebody did to keep it on the QT and all that kind of shit. That's a huge, and you know what? Fidel Castro was involved in that one too. And old news. That may have involved the murder of an adult woman, and it's a wash. It's in the realm of soft conspiracy theory and borderline romanticism. This involved 1,000 girls, underage girls, and you don't get to drop Bill Gates and Bill Clinton in this and then, absolve Trump when he was closer to Epstein than any of them. Closer to Epstein than you dumb motherfucker.
To have some legs. I mean, somebody someday should write actually a truthful, warts and all biography of Jeffrey Epstein from beginning to end, from his days in Coney Island to his, high school. He never went to college, and
still got a job teaching school because Donald Barr, who was Bill Barr's fucking dad, gave him a job at an all-girls school where he walked around in a fur coat with a fucking gold chain and hit on like college girls and high school girls. Holy shit.
He got a job at a big Wall Street firm and whatever.
Well, you skipped the girls' school thing entirely, didn't you? Did you notice that? Just breezed right by the Dalton School. Huh. You don't fucking say.
Happened after that. And then all of these instances.
Shrug. He was just a gun runner and was involved in like Russian and Israeli and Arab intelligence trading guns all throughout the Middle East at one of the most violent and volatile periods in the Middle East besides right fucking now.
Together all the evidence is now enough. There have been a few books written about it, but they've all been polemical.
Well, grab a pen, motherfucker. There shouldn't be any secrets. Tell all. Think of it as your deathbed confession, because it'll take you that long to finish it.
But to have a really good, solid, objective, neutral book based on all the evidence would, I think, go a long way toward eliminating the
fuck was that? They're just going to post his warning to the Wall Street Journal? Because I guess he's talking about Trump and my 50th birthday greetings to Epstein. Did the Wall Street Journal make them up? No. I'm going to go with no. Because, see, you can see yours and verify your handwriting. You can trace the ownership of them, which they belong to the Epstein estate, which is going to be the property of the victims, of which you can't or don't give a fuck about.
Conspiracy theory aspects of the case, but it'll never go away. The American public will never, ever be satisfied as to the circumstances of John.
Yeah, so if they're never going to be satisfied, you gotta just move on. You're never going to make them happy, so why even try? Why try solving it? It's like when they go after a serial killer who, brutally killed somebody or whatever. Like, if you catch him, we still got to put him in jail. Some people won't be satisfied. They're going to want the motherfucker dead. And we can't just, shoot him as soon as he's found guilty. And it'll be kind of a letdown. So why don't we just skip it and not prosecute him at all? Why don't we just let him go? You know what I mean? Since the parents of the victims will want to beat him to death with a fucking rock, and we can't let them do it, they're going to be upset, and they're never going to let it go until the day they get to. So even if he goes to jail for the rest of his life, they're still going to grind about it, right? Probably show up on the anniversary of their kids' deaths or something and want to raise awareness in case this motherfucker ever tries to get out on a pardon. So why even prosecute him? Right? this motherfucker.
Kennedy's death, probably never be satisfied with Robert Kennedy's death, and Malcolm X's death, Martin Luther King's death. These are all mysteries, and
yeah. And the difference here is that Donald Trump and you were witnesses to this one. It's really interesting. Like if anybody, like if I don't know, if any of the assassin's family in any of those cases came out and went, like Oswald's sister, like, why are we even bothering to look into my brother's background? You'd be like, maybe we should look into your brother's background.
And I have a connection to almost all of them. I mean, I was the one who told the Supreme Court justices that John Kennedy was assassinated. I was working for Robert Kennedy when he was assassinated, working on his campaign.
Yeah, you're just a fucking rabbit's foot, aren't you?
I had dinner with Malcolm X just a few weeks before he was assassinated. I'm not Zelig, and I'm not what's the name of the other movie. But I was there on a number of these cases, like just because of.
Yeah, there's a lot of that shrugging, trying to make nothing out of it. Like, where's our body language expert when you need him? Like, so I was in the room, when the guy was killed 2 weeks later. How was I supposed to know that, the next person that invited him to dinner was where he got shot. But I was, maybe I was, well, it's not like I was part of a setup and they decided, it was too hot right there. I couldn't do it, Jesus.
My age and my experience and where I've worked. So,
alongside some of the greatest scumbags in modern history.
And now I'm involved in this.
Yeah, it's weird sometimes. No, not now. Not now. You're not now involved in this. You were involved with him for decades. The noise about it is what you're talking about, not the involvement. The involvement isn't new. The motherfucker's been dead or out or on an island since 2019.
Conspiracy. I'm involved because I was his lawyer, because I was accused, and because I sent him a playful, maybe, cover of a magazine.
A playful, maybe cover of a magazine. So they didn't make him up. The answer is no. He just admitted his letter is real. Why would you defend something you didn't do? Why would you go, it's got a playful thing that I didn't do? Why would you defend it at all? Why would you try to downplay the content of a lie? If it's a lie, it's just a lie. Your Honor, can I permission to treat the witness as an asshole? Granted.
His 50th birthday. So I don't know. Will it go away? Will it?
No, it will not
disappear. Who knows? Will it still be around for the midterm elections? Probably not. Will it?
Yeah, nobody will care, especially not maggots who based everything on it and are going to be continuously bullshitted between now and then about it, on top of all the other bullshit.
Be around for the next presidential election? Almost certainly not.
Well, because Trump won't be running if he's even alive at that point.
Will there still be surmises that maybe he worked for the Mossad, the way Tucker Carlson said? It's clear everybody in Washington knows he worked for the Mossad. No, nobody in Washington knows he worked for the Mossad.
So he did work for the Mossad. Thanks for confirming that.
Because he didn't. So let's see how long this story holds on. I will try my best. I hope there's a new news hook for tomorrow. I'd really, really like to talk about something other than that, but today was a relative.
Yeah, it's funny. I can't imagine why Alan Dershowitz really, really would rather talk about anything else except his long and storied and protective relationship with one of the most notorious and well-known pedophiles on earth. Can't imagine. I don't know why you'd want to shrug this off. Everybody gets their 15 minutes, Dersh, and guess what, motherfucker? After OJ trial and all that kind of stuff and writing something like an op-ed that we need to lower the age of consent to the age of Epstein's fucking victims while you were partying with the motherfucker? After all that, your 15 minutes are happening right now. Jesus.
Slow news day, and every newspaper you turn to, the first page, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, their leading headlines are
yeah, whatever. Finally getting around to it. It must feel like one of those cold case serial killers, or like welcome to if the Golden State Killer had a fucking vlog, right? If somebody had if the Golden State Killer had finally I don't know what it is. Like, all of a sudden, everybody's like Patton Oswalt's wife, rest her soul, has just drew a lot of attention to this whole Golden State Killer. And I look around, like, they seem to be getting close to this guy. I wish we could talk about something else.
Or Jeffrey Epstein. So it would seem odd for me to ignore it, since I'm included in
included. That's adorable.
In several of these stories.
Yep. And the end. I'm going to go out on a limb, kids. And I know this is going to seem like a reach, but I don't think that worked. I don't think that video would have the impact he was hoping for at all. I don't think so. As a matter of fact, if it has any impact at all, it's going to be a little slice video that we can refer back to when more shit comes out about this dingy scumbag. Just saying. Like, to me, I gotta say, it doesn't look good for the Dersh. So, I just feel like the cast of extras, the remake of Click. Yeah, you're right. Just pass. If you were him, you'd delete it. If you were him, you'd be dumber and you wouldn't be aware of it, Ralph. You know what I mean? Like, you're you, so you're thinking with your brain, which works. And Dershowitz is thinking with his brain, which does not. Yes, that video, I would agree. I think that's a confession. Who the fuck follows Dersh anyways? It doesn't matter. You don't have to follow him. The motherfucker posted it. The internet is forever. Thanks to him putting it up there. Even if he takes it down, it's on my fucking show now. We can go back and visit this when more stuff comes out. He's like, God damn it, I was supposed to be protected by attorney-client privilege. Well, not when you're a participant in crime, or when we find out you could have turned in Epstein and you didn't, and he continued to victimize girls after the fact. Well, I didn't do it. You knew about it. It's if a fucking bartender can go to jail because they didn't notice that somebody was too drunk to drive and didn't stop them, then you goddamn right Alan Dershowitz can go to jail for enabling, multiple pedophiles. Ugh. God damn. Okay, so now here's why the story has legit legs. I want to jump into something that's a report that's like a legit legs. This is from CBS News, and they had experts go over, and I don't want to just jump on top of their reporting. I'm going to show this because you might not see it otherwise, and then I'm going to add my commentary as we go along too, because I'm not one of these people like Hamas Abi who steals content and then goes and takes a shit. But hit the like, share the show, etc., etc. Now, this is a report that they did. This is their news analysis of the report that was released and the holes that are in it. And this is fucking fascinating. And I learned a couple of things from this, very important details. that weren't available up till now, insofar as I know from anywhere that I had looked about this stuff. And one of them is just the range of this camera and how little it actually shows. It shows even less than they say. Okay, so check this out.
This month, the Federal Bureau of Investigation released the primary video used in the investigation of the death of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Deputy Director of the FBI, Dan Bongino, described
Here, looking like a tweaker trying to lie about there are no bodies in my crawl space, and you don't even have a warrant that covers the basement.
that video on Fox and Friends just weeks before its release.
I'm telling you. Doesn't look. I trust him. I don't know about you. I can see why Megyn Kelly would throw all in on Bongholio over here, who is looking for a TV for his bungholes.
There's video that when you look at the video, and we will release, that's what's taken a while on this.
There's video that when you look at the video.
We are working on cleaning it up to make sure you have an enhanced, and we're going to give the original so you don't think there were any shenanigans.
They have not released the original. Just, Hassan is anti-war. No, he isn't.
You're going to see there's no one there but him. There's video clear as day. He's the only person in there and the only person coming out. You can see it.
No, you can't. Think about this. This is what this asshole said, having seen the video we saw, and then he released it. Listen to that again.
So you don't think there were any shenanigans. You're going to see there's no one there but him. There's video.
There's no one there but him. Okay. No, you're not. There's lots of people around.
Clear as day. He's the only person in there and the only person coming out. You can see it.
No, you can't. Now, there are two possibilities here. One, he's lying his ass off and he's like, that should cover it, this little sliver right here. Or, and this is a very strong possibility, I am not ruling this out as all. As a matter of fact, Occam's rubber mallet being what it is, Bongholio, as we watched on his show, is so fucking dumb. We have seen him watch a video, play a clip, watch it with us, and get it completely wrong. Like, invert the meaning of it, totally screw up what it actually says, right? Okay? So it is very possible that Bongholio is so fucking stupid that he thinks that's Epstein's door. Or that one of these. Clear as fucking day. Honestly. I honestly think, like, at one point he watched this and he was like, oh, the door's right there. That's the door. You're like, no, motherfucker. His door's up behind here. These are the stairs. That right there. That's not it. That's a door out to service area, and this is like a fucking closet. No. And these stairs are like blocked with chairs or some shit, but like, no. You can't see it. But honest to God, I think Bongholio is so fucking dumb that he glanced at this and went, you can see the door right there. Nobody went in and out. Like, I think that's all he did. He just glanced at it and went, oh, we got the fucking video. There it is. Bang. That's how he thought, because he's so fucking dumb. Now, since that Fox News interview, I think he's learned, by hook or by crook, that isn't the fucking door. I think between then and now, and maybe then and when he was screaming at Pam Bondi to release a bunch more shit, that he went, oh, that's not his, you know what I mean? Like he's freaking out that he went on Fox News and basically went, there it is. Like he's this close in that piece to having brought a clip of this himself and going, you can see the door. There it is. Like, if they had allowed him to take a still frame from this, he'd have done it. Because he's that fucking dumb. And then, when they finally gave him the video and it came out, and the rest of the world went, that's not his door. Not his door at all. Like, nobody. I mean, we know he came and went. He made a phone call, and nobody comes in and out of that door. And that door isn't like, the whole world was like, that's not his door. And at some point, I gotta believe that's why Bongholio just fucking disappeared and hid. Because how fucking embarrassing is that? Because the next interview, Fox News, whoever, the Fox News dudes that watch my show, hi. The next time you interview Bongholio, tell him I call him that, and ask him if he's threatening me. Show a still of this and go, real quick, did you actually think that was Jeffrey Epstein's door? It seems like when you were here last time, when you were talking to us, you thought that was his fucking door, dummy. It's so good. Check this out.
We showed this video to multiple video forensics experts who agreed what the FBI and others have said is simply not true.
Oh, by the way, can I just... Yeah, simply not true. Do you notice that they walk people across the floor right where it is impossible to see their fucking face? The banister, like not 2 feet this way, not 2 feet that way, where you could see their head.
Experts
Look
who
at this.
agreed what the FBI and others have
this.
said is simply not true. That
Look at
video
that.
and other evidence led to the conclusion by the government that Epstein's
Like until their face is past. Jesus.
death on August 10th, 2019 was suicide. An analysis in consultation with video forensic experts suggests multiple inconsistencies between statements from government
That doesn't look like Jeffrey Epstein.
officials, including Bongino. A report from the Department of Justice's Office of the Inspector General into Epstein's death, released in 2023,
And now you know why Trump wants to fire all the inspector generals.
and the tape
Inspectors general.
itself. These inconsistencies, while not contradicting the conclusion Epstein died by suicide,
Well, yeah, it does, because there's no clear as day in this. So until it's clear as day in a situation like this, it absolutely contradicts it. Okay, then also where the motherfucker was they were breathing for him when he left. Nobody does that with a dead body. You just wheel the dumb motherfucker out so you can see his face. You don't cover his face with a fuck. Oh, sorry.
do introduce questions that the government so far has declined to answer.
Well, can't answer.
We'll show you those in a moment. First, let's break this all down.
Oh, let's break it down.
Epstein was
Oh. Sorry.
held at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Lower Manhattan in a unit separate from the general population known as the Special Housing Unit, or SHU. The unit has 3 wings, each with 2 levels. Epstein was held in the upstairs L tier of his wing.
This is, by the way, where the camera is, right here. That's where the camera is.
That tier is accessed by a set of stairs from the central common area. Directly adjacent to those stairs is the
By the way, the stairs, this is where I made a mistake before. I thought these stairs were like a double stair that went that way, like they jagged up. And so anybody going through this one, you would see them kind of going up and then they cross over to a second set. Nope, just one set of stairs going up, one set of stairs going down. So this set of stairs where you would see somebody's, like the orange, that's somebody fucking leaving. I'm getting ahead of myself.
officer's station, where on-duty corrections officers spend most of their time. The Inspector
Yeah, when they're not sleeping or surfing the internet. Yeah.
General report says several cameras in the unit were streaming a live feed to a remote location in the prison, but no one was watching them.
Now, heretofore, I was always under the impression that someone was watching them, but they weren't recorded. According to this report and the report from the Inspector General, nobody was watching them at all. Not even, I think, the guards down at this table. They were. I was under the impression that these guys had a couple of monitors here so they could check on people or at least see the hallways. But why would they if they're just walking around? It's a secure facility. Once you're inside, you're inside. So it makes sense that they wouldn't have monitors there. But just in case, right? It's a special housing unit, perhaps.
Malfunctioning equipment meant only one camera recorded the general area.
Yes, the one least likely Other than, I suppose, this one. Like, the only one worse would have been this one, which I think would have been a little on the nose. If that one had been working, or this one over here had been working, right there, game over.
That camera captured part of the common area, including the officer's station and
the area below its visibility point where these stairs are.
a sliver of the staircase leading to Epstein's cell. The
Sliver of the staircase.
footage begins at 7:40 p.m. the night before Epstein's death. You can see staff and inmates moving about, preparing for the nightly lockdown. That's the officer's station in the background. Only 2 employees.
No monitors, just a fucking desk. Like, I think there's a computer monitor there, but it's not like they're not seeing the cameras that are around. And maybe there's a point to that. Like, you don't want the prisoners to know what angle you can see so they can use it or whatever.
Employees have been publicly
Not that you couldn't fucking figure it out.
identified. Tova Noel, a corrections officer pulling a double shift that began at 4 p.m., and Michael Thomas, a materials handler who won't arrive until midnight. Epstein is seen for the first and only time on camera at 7:49 p.m. when the department.
Yeah, there he is. That's him. You can see him, can't you? What was the phrase, Bungholio? Clear as day? Jesus Christ, this is embarrassing.
of Justice said he was escorted to his cell from another wing of the unit. It's important to note here, you don't actually see Epstein ascend the stairwell to his cell block.
That's right. Who says he was ever there?
Remember what Dan Bongino said.
There's video clear as day. He's the only person in there and the only person coming out. You can see it.
Let's zoom in and play that again in slow motion. Here's the sliver of stairs. Epstein is here with his escort, and they walk off screen. When the FBI
Yeah, you don't actually see him go up the goddamn steps.
released the video, they said anyone entering or attempting to enter the tier where Epstein's cell was located from the common area would have been captured by this footage. But with the primary entrance here, the pathway from the entrance to the stairs is completely out of view of the camera. For the
Yes. God! Completely. Like the primary entrance, the door to the fucking wing, and all the way to his, like, if a federal employee who had a right to be there or no right to be there, or a fucking, like, CIA guy, if they entered, they'd enter through that downstairs door and be completely hidden. And it's not, like, if they'd just put him across from the steps, somebody down the steps could have seen up into his room, but they literally put him in like the kitty corner right there, and right there next to the steps, so you don't have to walk past everybody else and back. Jesus Christ, this is the laziest murder for hire I've ever seen.
next hour or so, corrections officers and inmates are seen moving about, preparing for all prisoners to be locked down. At 8:21, another inmate is seen being escorted toward the stairs leading to Epstein's cell area. No movement is detected on the stairs again. By 8:24, all of the inmates appear to have been taken to their cells.
Appear to have been. Doing a lot of heavy lifting there.
Noel told the inspector general she visited Epstein's cell at about 10 p.m. You can see her head in that direction here, albeit closer to 10:30, but not climb the stairs.
Right. Because you couldn't see anybody go up and down the stairs. Holy shit. Clear as day. Hey, maggots who support Trump even though he was friends with Epstein for 25 fucking years. How many murders for hire have you seen? I've never actually seen him play out except in true crime videos, Sue. I've watched a lot of those things, like when people sit there and they work out the deal, and it's always in a cop or an FBI undercover pretending to be the hitman, and they work it out or whatever, right? And then I guess, does Law and Order criminal intent count? I mean, it's got Vincent D'Onofrio in it, and he's awesome. So
The rules require rounds to be made every 30 minutes, but according to the report, this was the only time anyone checked on the inmates that night.
Anybody could have hung themselves. It could have been a Spandau ballet in that place.
There was even a sign printed on orange paper posted on the guard station saying mandatory rounds must be conducted every 30 minutes on Epstein. As per God. This was because of concerns about his risk for suicide.
Also, they misspelled mandatory, and somebody underlined it and put a question mark. Mandatory. Mandatory? Obviously, they were crossing their T's and dotting their I's, every hour on the hour. Mandatory. Yeah. Apparently, God can't fucking spell.
As per God.
Oh, maybe that's why it says manna. Sorry. It's mandatory from heaven.
This was because of concerns about his risk for suicide. At 10:38 p.m., the report says someone, probably Noel, carries a
No. I'm not doing probably with fucking anybody that you can't see their face because of a goddamn banister. Somebody probably. No. Somebody, probably a ninja. How about that?
bundle of bedding or clothing up the stairs. It's a rare instance the video does catch movement on the stairs, but barely. Let's see that zoomed in and in slow motion again. Several of the
Clear as fucking day. Clear as day.
video forensic experts we spoke with were skeptical about
Bungholio. You, sir, are an assholio. You are looking for tippy for your bunghole. Tippy. Titicaca. Goddamn. Somebody's got to confront him with this. Like, asshole, did you think that was the door? And what the fuck is this? That's the... This looks like a fucking time lapse of the Jerry Lewis telethon thermometer.
the report's conclusion and thought that the video could be showing an inmate walking up the stairs.
You're right. I don't know, with maybe a rope in his hand. Shit.
Authorities say this was the last time anyone approached his cell block until his body was discovered the next morning.
Right. Okay, so more than likely he was killed by an inmate. Cool. All right, settled? Shit.
Again, while the video does not contradict that,
Sorry, why do you call Bungino Bungholio? I don't call him Bonholio. I call him Bungholio. Because he is looking for teepee for his bunghole. Because he is looking for teepee.
experts who viewed the video say the limited field of view makes it impossible to definitively conclude that no one used those stairs in that time period. Beyond this, there are other issues our investigation and others have uncovered.
Yes, and others. Including most of the fucking internet and every maggot who's looked at this video all the way through.
At 11:21 p.m. and 34 seconds, a cursor appears briefly on screen.
Yes, it does. A cursor. Apparently, he was killed. He was clicked and dragged. That's how he died.
11:21 p.m. and 34 seconds, a cursor appears briefly on screen, indicating the video may have been recorded with a camera or a screen recording.
What the heck? Who is calling? Oh, I see. That's funny. Hi, Chris. It's Hal. I'm calling you by accident. My phone called you because I'm looking for a teepee for my bunghole. No, I'm on the show, actually, and my phone thought that me making fun of Dan Bongino was me saying, dial Chris Bono. Love you, brother. Bye. That's so funny. I was like, why is my phone making this?
Here I am like an idiot.
That was cut out of the video, I think. Trump makes an appearance in the video. All right. So video slowed, looped, and circled. Okay. This is them looping it, by the way. They're letting you know.
And was not an export of the RAW file. The FBI said it had seized the prison's hard drive 5 days after his death and had released the full RAW footage this month.
Which it fucking did not.
Told CBS News the video's metadata, which tracks how a file is created and changed, shows it's made from 2 clips stitched together in editing.
Oh, no. No. 2 clips, 3 clips total, because a clip is a clip no matter what it's made of. This video is in there twice. Now, why would it matter that there is one copy of this one and two copies of this one. Because if you were going to loop and fake something using, think of it as like, you know, when they're doing a movie, I don't know if you know this, but when they record dialogue in a party scene or something like that, or a restaurant or whatever, they do what's called room tone. After everybody's done, when everybody has to shut the fuck up, and then they go getting room tone, they put the boom mic up there, and they catch the sound of the room by itself, the lights buzzing a little bit, you know, just the general, all rooms have sound, the creak of the building, whatever happens. So they get that room tone so that when you're editing later, you can use that audio to patch any shocking points in the edit, so that if the audio doesn't match up, you can crossfade it and cover it with room tone. Yeah? Okay. So what you could do in this situation is you have this video and this video you want to stitch together, and you use a copy of this video to stitch it. Okay. Yes, and apparently, yes, Alucius, apparently they think none of us have ever seen a fucking, like, haven't seen Hudson Hawk, for fuck's sake. Oh, we ain't got a barrel of money. We may be ragged and runny, but we'll travel along, singing a song, side by side.
Software. Those experts also say the video was edited and saved multiple times.
Oh, no. The experts don't say that. The metadata says that. The experts pointed it out. Okay, experts don't tell you how gravity works. They explain, they show you the evidence that gravity exists and it had this particular impact. They don't need to convince you about gravity every time. Experts didn't tell you anything about that. As a matter of fact, you can fucking see it. They showed it to you. Experts showed us that there were 3 files, right? They showed us that it had been saved, created, save, right?
Next up, the now famous missing minute. At 11:57 and 35 seconds, an individual appears on screen from the direction of the main door. It's likely this is Michael Thomas arriving for his
or, again, a ninja.
midnight shift and replacing the other staff member on duty who'd been working.
Or shooting them in the neck with a Curari dart, and when they pass out, sneaking around, they loop the video to cover for the fact that this is frozen right here where they're just standing there, and then they go back, reassume the position, and then restart the video after they've murdered the dude. Just saying. Is that something you think you could do for $200 million? Do you think you could pay people $500 million to make this happen? How about $1 billion hard currency?
From 4 to midnight, Noel was starting a second shift of 8 hours. From that point on, only Noel and Thomas were on duty during the critical window when Epstein is believed to have died. At 11.
Believed to have.
58 and 58 seconds, the video jumps to midnight, and the aspect ratio of the video changes slightly.
Yes,
Another
it does.
indication it may have been edited. Zooming in and playing back in slow motion, you can...
By the way, we don't need indications. It's in the metadata. It's not a raw footage. It's not a raw piece of footage at all.
see a slight shift in the shape of the figure standing or sitting around the officer's desk.
Yes, which, I mean, look, if this was important video, maybe I would get hung up about that. But it's like, this is what happens when you got cheap video. And so, like, things can happen. You know, it's kind of like those videos where the QAnon people keep showing people with snake eyes because the vertical and the horizontal pixels crisscross during a fade or something, and somebody's eyes look like slits, and they're like, "Told you he was a snake," right? That shit. It's basically like that. It's just a trick of the video, but it doesn't prove that he didn't escape.
But otherwise,
just like Strange Brew, exactly.
Nothing changes. Attorney General Pam Bondi attributed the missing minute to a nightly reset of the security camera system.
There was a minute that was off the counter, and what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999.
Oh, by the way, apparently that isn't true either. There's a story in the Daily Beast that they have the whole video with the minute in it. They have the original. According to the Daily Beast, we'll see if it comes out. They have the whole video with that minute. I don't know where the fucking minute supposedly went, but this is absolute horseshit. Either she's being lied to, and I think that's the case. I don't think she's looked past any of this stuff. I think she's just saying what she's been told because it's convenient, right? Yeah, this is dumb.
Every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night.
Yeah, that's right. We're looking for video from every night since 1999 to show you that every night at 11:59 it goes right to midnight, and anybody can do anything they fucking want in that 1 minute. If you want to knife a guard and run back to your room, if you can manage to do it in that 1 minute that's been happening since the last millennium, you can do it. All right.
Additional video has not been released, and a government
No, it hasn't. Even though they have fucking 26 years of it. Son of a bitch. Any night in the last 26 years, they could go, see, here's what happened. Here's 2 weeks before that, minute missing. Here's a minute missing. And then people go like, well, why the fuck didn't you fix that? Why'd you put him in that? Oh.
source is alleged to CBS News the FBI and other agencies are in possession of the full, unedited footage. Why the FBI did not release that is unclear, and the agent...
Oh, no, I think it's pretty clear. I'm going to go with this. It's clear. Yeah, I'm going to go. I think it's clear. I think clearly they don't want to.
He offered no comment. Importantly, the Inspector General gives no indication there was a minute missing when their team reviewed the video. We can surmise...
Ooh! Wait, really? So the Inspector General saw the minute, but they cut it from public consumption? Or did they not fucking notice?
The male staffer working the 4 to 12 shift would have left during the missing minute based on the report, leaving just Noel and Thomas. But that is not seen on camera. Serious problems with the government's investigation and witness statements don't end there. The report says the unit was secured by 2 doors, one requiring a key held only by Noel and Thomas. Noel...
Yeah, I'm guessing that's not true either, right? I'm not a gambling man. But
Noel told investigators no one could enter without her physically opening that door. But here's where it gets tricky. Let's look at this one example. 4 a.m. Noel remains in full view of the camera, yet seconds later, someone walks in, and it appears neither Noel nor Thomas let her in. The report...
So... Also, real quick... Can I just devil's I got a lot of names. Devil's advocate here. Why would you have a special unit on the prison where only the guards inside can open the door? Like that just seems like a recipe for hostage taking, right? If maybe somebody outside's the only person, like they have to communicate and they have to go, yeah, you have to open this, and then that person has to clear it and they let you out because they're outside the door. What? Shit.
Is silent on this apparent contradiction.
The butler did it. Guy was like a cross between Alistair Cook and a Cuisinart.
And even if there was no other key, both Noel and Thomas had ample opportunities to let someone in. At least...
Or kill them themselves for a cool $100 million.
A half dozen times, one or the other of them exits the camera frame in the direction of the door, all without explanation.
Well, I think it's the obvious one is that they were opening the door for someone. Probably just somebody with a butthole full of drugs.
We shared this with our forensic experts who agreed there was no way to conclusively determine from the video whether
whether that person walking in the black clothes is Jeffrey Epstein leaving the facility with a key that they handed him, just like the key he had to the jail in Florida.
Unseen visitor was or was not let into the Epstein unit, although both Noel and Thomas have said no one else entered.
All right, sure. Yeah. It's good enough for me.
6:22, either Thomas or Noel walk off screen again and reappear carrying food trays. Breakfast for the prisoners. At this point, based on the autopsy results, Epstein is believed to already be dead.
No, because they were still breathing him when they took him out of the place. People who are dead don't get continued resuscitation. They just don't fucking try. They cover your fucking face with a sheet and they roll you out. But if they wanted people to see your face as you're leaving, they can't just put a sheet over your face. So you gotta breathe in him. Goes, oh, there goes Epstein out of the jail, right?
To Thomas's account, he arrived.
Where the fuck did he get all those clothes from?
At Epstein's cell to deliver his breakfast and found him in a seated position. His butt.
How does his ass even touch the ground with all those clothes? He could be sitting on those clothes and not be able to hang himself.
An inch from the ground, held up by a torn sheet tied to the bunk bed in his room. At 6:30, someone rushes in from off camera, according to the report. This was Noel returning to the desk to call for help after Thomas discovered Epstein. Epstein's body was quickly removed from the cell. Only Noel and Thomas witnessed him hanging.
So the people who were there all night long, they said they had the key to the door, and they falsified their records and did all that kind of stuff. Those are the only people that saw him hanged. And by the time the help had come out, they had taken him even out of the cell entirely. They didn't just untie him and lay him on the ground from his cell. They took him out into the hallway, which we can't see, and it's totally in trust me, bro, but whatever.
6:40 a.m., the video ends. Epstein's body is not seen being removed. Both Thomas and Noel have said they played...
Yeah, it oddly cuts before they would have taken him down the stairs on a fucking gurney, right? I guess you know, how the fuck did... All right, never mind. Like, what did they do? Fucking shoulder carry him? They just slide him down the goddamn stairs?
No role in Epstein's death. They were charged with falsifying documents, but those charges were dropped as part of a plea deal. Additional clarification could come from a second camera mentioned in the report. It recorded an elevator bank in the same unit, although the report stated that it did not cover areas that would have included access to Epstein's cell. It would at least show a missing minute. We reached out to the department.
Sorry. So the idea is that it would have showed that it misses a minute like the other video. So we could watch this completely different hallway, not related at all, to see if at 11:59 it blinks to midnight. That's helpful. Okay. yeah.
Department of Justice to see about obtaining that footage. They referred us to the FBI, who referred us back to the Department of Justice.
Weird. Oh, God. How can Trump fire J.D. Vance? No. No, he can't. I mean, he can, like, I guess Vance can resign, and he can be indicted and impeached and removed. But I don't think the president can fire his VP.
Neither Thomas nor Noel...
Because he was elected too, technically speaking.
...responded to our inquiries through their legal representatives. For a case that demanded transparency, it's yet...
Yes, a transparent balcony, or like a banister would have helped on this balcony, because we could have seen that was just a homeless man who unfortunately looked a lot like Jeffrey Epstein and got walked into this fucking death trap.
Another muddled chapter, raising more questions than it answers.
Yeah. Holy shit. Like, I think the best part of that is just, like, I mean, there's several great parts. This ridiculousness about the orange that was allegedly the clothes, or it could have been an inmate killing him. Mandatory was pretty hilarious. Anyone entering or attempting to enter the tier where Epstein's cell was located from the SHU common area would have been captured by this footage. Nope. Not at all. There's the entryway. And by the way, that doesn't include anybody who was over here who walks below the visibility of it and past this wall. Like, it watches the guards more than anybody else. It's almost like they released this just to show the guards were there all night, because that would quell people's sense of, well, the guards didn't hear anything. The guards didn't run and, they didn't hear him struggling or somebody going, they're paying me to kill you, Jeffrey. Like, they were there at their desk. And so this is like one of those cameras that at a bodega or a convenience store where it's not, you realize it's not actually, it's behind the counter, but it's not pointed at you. it's pointed at the employee so it can see if they're stealing from the till. Yeah. Yeah, this is the entry that supposedly no one can open that she clearly did. Hal, I think the camera missed the shot of the man turning into a railroad and twisting his mustache. I think that's missing from the... Yes. So, just isn't that magical? All right. Now, I wanted to show this because this is the opening. Where do we start? This is Trump in Scotland says I didn't kick him out because he was a creep. It's because he stole my employees. And then he says he stole Virginia Giuffre from me. Stole her. He stole her. This is what Trump says. Totally blowing a hole in this dipshit's favorite defense. His favorite defense, and Stu does this all the time, everybody at the fucking blase, you bunch of assholes, the one thing you guys fall back on all the time, Trump kicked him out for being a creep. He didn't like it. He was hitting on somebody, and the kid of one of the members there didn't like it, right? And he didn't like that. He was like, knock it off, you pedo, and kicked him out. Now, again, this is not a moral defense because apparently Trump had no problem with this dude farming from, like, the local high schools because it's a bunch of poor white trash, and fuck them, they deserve whatever they get. It was just when he started messing with members' daughters, this is the story, that then suddenly he got upset about it. Turns out wasn't the case. It was because he worked really hard to find underage girls to work in his spa, and he didn't want Jeffrey Epstein taking them from him because he kept stealing the ones that looked like Ivanka, and it made Trump mad. So this defense has completely fallen apart. It's dead. There's no going back. It's not even something that Trump, like, it was written that he said, or there was a note about it, or a secondary story. He fucking said it talking with I think it was the Prime Minister of the UK sitting there, or Vanderland. Like, he was sitting there taking questions for a long time, and he said it. And then he said it on the gaggle on the airplane on camera, saying he stole her from me. And it wasn't like he was doing terrible things to my employees. You know, he lured this girl away and did terrible things. Not even that. Like, hey, it's just fucking property. She's mine. You know, I saw her first. That's the way it comes across. But it certainly isn't that he kicked him out for being a creep. Period. That ship has fucking sailed. So, of course, on the day after that ship sailing, Glenn Beck is going to come out and talk about the problem with men.
Being idealist first and realist later.
Hold on.
In question, when Donald Trump's strongest voting bloc starts to fall off after 6 months of a largely successful second term.
Largely successful. If you're trying to destroy all the jobs men are going to do by bringing factories back that are giant vending machines and that will have barely any humans working in them at all, have fun whittling for a living.
It's time for some soul searching.
Yes, it is. Apparently, the Republicans need to do some cleanup with the boys. This is because the brosphere has turned on him over Epstein, but apparently it's because men have lost their way.
Not just because the midterms loom or because 2028 is already on the horizon.
6 months in, they loom, and 2028 is already on the horizon.
But the demographic in question, young men, will shape, defend, and lead this country well beyond the next election. If they've grown too cynical to bother, the rest of us are going to be left holding the bag. Okay. I'm not going to play this for you because it's fucking ridiculous. He's reading a blog post from his website on the Blaze. This is 39 minutes long. He just reads this fucking screed about how young men need fucking leadership skills and shit like that. Hold on. Wait, where is it? In front of me. Hold on. And they told you it was for an education because they believed that. But that wasn't an education. They were reprogramming you. They taught you how to protest, how to self-diagnose, how to beg for safe spaces.
By the way, they moved his written piece because they realized he wasn't going to take calls or talk about anything else up to the big monitor in the studio so he can use a fucking teleprompter to basically eat time until they get to the fucking break.
Who might be listening right now, because I see this in my son. You have been lied to over and over and over again. Not once, not twice, but since the day you were born, you've been lied to. You were lied about.
Luckily, you didn't speak the language until you were probably 3 or something. So, I'm just saying it's a waste to lie to a newborn because all they hear is.
You were lied to about what it even means to be a man. Lied.
Okay. Again, I'm not going to play more of this because I will get off on a rant. But the idea that this fucking bearded marshmallow is going to tell us what it means to be a man, that him and his fucking co-blob, these sonic-sucking dipshits who can't wait to take a fucking number to gargle Trump's fucking nuts, are going to tell me what it is to be a fucking man or any other young man out there? The fuck out of here. You fucking nerf prick. Jesus. And again, 39 goddamn minutes yammering about how we're going to lose the manosphere block that put us over the top in the last election. Why? Why are you going to lose them? I'll tell you why. Because they listen to Joe Rogan and they listen to fucking Sullivan and all those other guys. And those guys are like, wait a minute. This motherfucker lied to us about the Epstein shit, and he's definitely in those files, and all of this is gaslighting, and all of this is a lie, and even the Glenn Becks of the world don't have the fucking chutzpah, the nads to say it. Fucking say it. You Vienna sausage. Jesus. 39 minutes of that shit on the day after Trump blows his story of he kicked him out because he was a creep out of the water. The fucking nerve of this prick. And that, by the way, yammering about that shit all the way up to the break. I was stunned. Like, I skipped through the ads because there's a shit ton. He did more live reads than I've ever seen him do. He's just fucking trying to fill time on the radio in between these breaks. And it's because, like, anything not to mention the fact that he's just been lying to his viewers this whole time, and he's too much of a fucking wuss to admit it. Now, meantime, I'm going to skip ahead in this video because I want to go to Blumenthal. But meanwhile, the whole do-nothing Dems kind of thing that's been floating around is not true. And in every circumstance, Dems are forcing a vote on the Epstein files. They're forcing a vote on elements of the bill that it turns out a lot of Republicans didn't even know were in there. And they're planning that the Republicans are now planning repeal votes for elements of the big bullshit bill because there's shit in it. They're like, oh my fucking God, really? Right? And so they're having to dial this shit back. So then Chuck Schumer and the 5-member, well, like half, I think there's like 7 members or whatever, but they can use this Gang of 5 rule, where 5 members of the Homeland Security Committee can request information. They can't subpoena people, but this Gang of 5 thing allows them to interview people or ask for evidence on stuff that deals with national security, so that nobody can cover for the administration. This is, I want to say this is from like Reagan era, but it very well may be from 9/11. But this rule that allows them to do this. And so they are using this rule to insist that they get this stuff. Okay? So this is, there's a couple of them that spoke. Here's Blumenthal next.
Blumenthal, thank you. I want to thank, first of all, Senator Schumer for his leadership and Chairman Peters, Ranking Member Peters, for taking the lead here as well. This letter has the force of law. This letter invokes a statute that has been little used because it has been unnecessary in the past to enforce transparency. It's necessary now because this administration is stonewalling and stalling and concealing. And the American people are rightly asking, what do they have to hide?
Yeah.
What's at stake here is not just the president's promises, although they are absolutely clear when he said, quote, President Trump says he will declassify the 9/11 files, JFK files, and Epstein files, end quote. That's President Trump.
Yeah, they had to end the quote there because of that same thing. He was like, well, I don't know the Epstein, but there's a lot of phony stuff in that, you know. Is it really? I mean, yeah, JFK, sure, but they cut that part out of the Fox interview.
What's at stake here is more than the president's promises. It's the credibility of our justice system and
Bungholio, who is looking for a tipi for his bunghole.
the question whether there was proper criminal prosecution, whether it was complete and full, whether it was accurate, and what additional facts the American people are entitled to know. What's at stake is also the victims. This crime by Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell was not a victimless crime. It was not just about money laundering. It was not just about...
Which it was.
Lying to the government.
Which it also was.
It was about exploiting women, in fact, girls.
They have by the way, they have a sign up that's printed that has a picture of Epstein that says, with the quote from Trump that says he likes him on the younger side.
Girls who were mercilessly and repeatedly subject to abuse and trafficking. And that is why the American people have a right to know who else was involved, whether the system really was rigged in favor of the rich and powerful, which is what...
Gee, let me think.
The suspicion has been on the part of a lot of the president's supporters and why they so enthusiastically greeted his promises of full disclosure. He's broken those promises. We're going to enforce the law to make him fulfill his commitments to be transparent and full in disclosure. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. We'll take questions on this subject first. Yes.
Would this law compel information that's under grand jury seal by the courts to be released to the committee? And are there other things that could be redacted, law enforcement sensitive information?
There can be redactions, and we're not going to break. Whoa, you okay? We're not going to force
redactions.
Any agreements that have been broken, but we believe almost everything can come out.
Including the stuff that's under seal by the court.
Also, by the way, we don't need the grand jury testimony. The grand jury testimony is the barrel down, absolute things they can charge on. What they need is the evidence that was available, that was going to be used at trial. Whatever the prosecution was going to present at trial, and or that evidence that was going to be used to either defend Jeffrey Epstein or in support of, that would have been handed over to survivors had he been able to be sued afterwards, and that kind of stuff. So all of that material, anything seized in the FBI raids, all that kind of stuff, you don't need the actual testimony. That doesn't matter. It's like a Cliff Notes for what's going on. You want the goddamn evidence.
Well, that'll have to be litigated. Yes.
Would you accept the Justice Department limiting the reading of these files to leadership or members in a... I
think they should be made public. I mean, certainly to the Congress and to the public. The public has a right to know.
Including the interviews that were done recently with Maxwell in the last couple of days.
Yeah. And we need the evidence. Again, they didn't tape it, though. Insofar as we know, there are no records of Todd Blanche's interview with Ghislaine Maxwell. No video, no audio, and that's not an accident.
Notes
No witness.
that were taken, any recordings, should be made public as well. And, you know, the redactions that Senator Schumer mentioned are standard operating procedure in the Department of Justice when it does a report based on an investigation. It's rare, but it's not unusual.
When the Justice Department says,
Go ahead, you both can go. Do you want to go once? We'll
We
answer.
can go together. Do you want to talk?
Go ahead, he goes first.
If they don't respond to your request, is there any enforcement mechanism? Is there any way for you guys
Well,
to...
our hope is that our Republican colleagues will join us in this. This is a law. This has been made. It should be bipartisan. And we're still, Gary, we're still talking to Republican colleagues about trying to join us.
Somebody says, why didn't Trump pardon Epstein? Because he hadn't gone to trial yet, and he died before he had a chance to. Trump could have pardoned him, could have commuted a sentence or anything like that. Now, he could also do that with Ghislaine Maxwell, and that's the fear, that he's going to offer that to him. But he can't pardon somebody unless they've already been charged. And you can only pardon someone for the stuff that they've done. But that's why he didn't do it.
That may help get this
Didn't have a chance to, the dude.
public. But if not, there's recourse in the courts. This is the law.
and so how can Democrats, as the minority, take this to the courts? Can you explain how that would work?
We have talked to some of our lawyers, and this can be challenged in the courts. Yes.
After the horrific shooting in New York and a police officer was killed, do you think it's a bad look for Senator Booker to be objecting to police and law enforcement related bills?
Look, Senator Booker has strong beliefs on this issue. He's had them for a very long time. He believes in strong law enforcement. Yes.
Some of your Democratic colleagues have talked about making an amendment to the minibus related to the Epstein files. Will you use that for the NOMS negotiations that are going on to try to force Republicans?
Look, we are on the initial minibus. We are running a hotline right now. Okay? Yes.
That's inside the Beltway talk for something that they are, they're working all angles.
Camille Bovey was confirmed last night, even after a number of whistleblowers came forward, including some at the 11th hour. But what do you...
The Emil Bove stuff. So anyways, that deals with the Epstein part of this, and then they take a couple more questions, and that's that. But they have used this Gang of Five thing, and they can actually, technically speaking, because the stuff is digital, they can just pick it up. They can effectively just download it, as it were. Anything that's available digitally in that. And then they can also show up and pick stuff up from the FBI. They and their staff can roll over there with a truck and go, we have a court order for that material. Hal, you must see the 2016 testimony of Katie Johnson. I talked about it on the show already. Tara has talked about it as well. I have seen her deposition video and I have read her testimony. And we've spoken about Katie on the show. Yeah, it's fucking horrifying. Okay, so Trump did an interview in Scotland, and I have not seen this. It's fairly short. It's Pod Force One with Miranda Devine. Miranda Devine is also one of the people who ran interference for him on the Russia situation. Now, again, I doubt she's going to ask him how come Jeffrey Epstein in the last week of his life transferred a bunch of his money through Russian banks. And also why his face has got so much fucking orange on it that they couldn't even dial it down with the obvious filter they threw on.
Welcome back to Podforce One. Today we're coming to you from the President's Golf Course in Turnberry, Scotland. I'm Miranda Devine, and I'm
who's playing Yacht Rock in the background? Also, can I just say, does all the furniture at all of Trump's property look like shit that I was worried about sitting in at my grandparents' house? Not because I would stain it or ruin it or anything, but that it made little marks in it, and so I couldn't not make little doodles by running my finger across the fabric. Okay.
joined by President Donald Trump.
Sorry, it's the wrong theme song. 1 second. if I can. Yeah, now play.
Dum 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 stupid dum silly stupid dum
President,
dum.
for coming on Pod Force One again, and especially on this momentous occasion when you have managed to get a trade.
You managed to drag most of the U.S. government to your golf course and charge them over retail so that you can afford to keep this dump open.
Deal with Europe, the biggest trade deal ever. How did you pull that off?
You didn't. It hasn't happened.
Well, we've been dealing a long time, and I have a lot of respect for the group. And
Man, he's gone from zero to Pat Robertson in like 2 months.
as you know, you have a woman president
I'm starting to lose my fucking mind.
who's very, very brilliant and very good, very talented at what she does, Ursula, who you know. And we made it is the biggest deal ever made.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I forgot. Sorry. This is, yeah, that's a rough one. I should have brought that up earlier. Not warning. It's going to get, yeah, it's going to be a pretty, yeah, it's a waggy one right now.
I guess you could say. It's certainly the biggest trade deal ever made.
It hasn't been made. There is no trade deal. Also, he's slapping this big 15% number on a bunch of places, and then there are carve-outs for almost everything. So it ends up being for like 5 pieces of cheese and certain kinds of hats at the end of the day.
And
was she tough to deal with?
Yeah, no. I mean, she was respectful. We were all respectful, but she's very good at what she does, and her.
Yeah, she managed to not have anything signed either way. Also, has he gone for dreadlocks in the back there? What is that? The part that's just sliding off of his dome? They just fucking gave up. They're not going to comb it over anymore. They're just going to let it fall like a flan in a cupboard.
People are very good, and our people are very good. And when you think of it, we were getting nothing in the old days, you know, meaning prior to this.
Yeah, all we were getting was cheap goods from all over the world.
We were getting nothing, and now we're getting a lot.
A lot more expensive.
And it's going to be good for everybody. And I think it's going to pull a big part of the world together, too.
Well, she seemed very happy at
She
the
was
end of
very
it.
happy. And
Yeah, very happy that nothing was signed and it's a handshake deal and most of it's illegal and there are giant carve-outs for every meaningful industry.
Yeah.
And we're all very happy, yeah.
And who's next?
Well, we're dealing with China. We sort of have the confines of a deal. But we're dealing with China.
The confines of a deal. Sorry, is this deal a steel trap? Oh, confines. You mean like Epstein's cell? I'm sorry. Why does everything come back to that?
We just concluded a deal, as you know, with Japan, where they're going to
Yes, you concluded the confines of the deal with Japan.
pay $550 billion.
And basically put our car companies out of business because they're paying 15% and American car companies are paying 25% on any kind of part that comes from outside the country. But a whole car made in Japan, no matter where the country of origin the parts come from, only pays a 15% tariff. Yeah, that's how stupid. You wonder how stupid? That's stupid.
Lots of good things are happening there. And
for the Japanese,
they were happy. I'm happy. You know, both sides have to be happy. But we're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars. Look,
while losing trillions.
We were a dead country a year
No, we were not.
ago, and now we're the most vibrant. We're the coolest country, they say, in the world. But I think we're the most successful country in the world right now.
We were the most successful country in the world anyways, already. We're just less so now.
Numbers that nobody would have believed is really even possible.
Yes, nobody believes your numbers are possible. That they're cartoonishly stupid.
And it seems that a lot of countries in Europe are now coming around to your way of thinking.
No, they're just figuring out that the way around this dipshit is to play to his ego because he's a dipshit. That's it. Because that's the dipshit playbook, dipshit.
Even Germany is talking about mega, making Europe great again.
Yeah.
And so are you noticing that there is a
Which is way better than MAGA, by the way. That's why this show is Megaworldwide. Gleam.
difference that people are, especially on migration, on pro-business policies, that the Europeans are changing?
Europe has a tremendous migration problem, immigration, if you want to call it that.
Sure. Immigration, migration, migrants or immigrants, you know. You say tomato, I say Funyuns.
People are coming into Europe. It's like
illegal. Yeah.
Well, it's going to be a different place. You can't do this. This beautiful Europe that you know and I know so well.
It's getting all brown.
And I told them they have to stop that. They have to stop windmills all over the place too.
Yes, right. That's the big problem. Muslim extremists and windmills.
You go around, you look at these beautiful valleys and beautiful hills, and
yes, with big white windmills on them. When it's so terrible when they could have oil pumps, which are so much more attractive.
Mountains, and you got windmills all over the place.
Well,
It's
you were
crazy.
playing golf, weren't you, on this beautiful golf course in
Right.
Western Scotland? And what happened at the 18th hole?
Well, I'm looking down the 18th hole, and Turnberry is, I think, probably the best course in the world.
Yeah.
No, it isn't. Not even close. It's a fucking dump.
Considered that by many people, and
No, it's not. By your marketing team. Not even close. If it was, you wouldn't have to drag the fucking government there and have the taxpayers keep this shit afloat.
it's had 4 Open Championships, etc. And I'm looking down, and in the distance, I mean, it's a pretty far distance, but it doesn't matter. These things are massive, and you're looking at these ugly windmills.
Yes, these big, white, futuristic, impressive features, like, you know, when we could have an oil rig there, you know what I mean? If they would just put an oil rig there and stuff, it's so much more attractive.
And it's a shame. It's really a shame.
I gotta say, I don't get it. Even when they're not moving, these things look cool. What is he talking about? For real. Windmill farm, they look great. They look really cool. What the fuck is he looking at? That part, look, I know why he hates it, because he wants oil and gas to be cheap and you can't power cars with it, and he's worried that renewables won't be you can't manipulate it and make money off the market. If everybody produces their own energy, how can Russia ever gain control of Europe again, right? But they look fine. You know what I mean? Especially if you're talking about oil rigs in the fucking Gulf of Epstein didn't hang himself, right? Oil rigs are pretty now.
Really hurting. You know, it's a con job saying the environmentalists want it, because I can't believe they really want it. Kills the birds, ruins the look. It didn't.
By the way, how slow are these birds flying?
Noisy. If you see them from your house is worth like 50% or more less.
No, you do not. Your fucking house doesn't go down in value by half if you can see a windmill out your window. What the fuck are you talking about? It's Jesus Christ, man. It's not like living at the end of a runway. No, not ever.
No, I just think it's.
You just think it's bad if we get to renewables because your leader friends, the guys in the Middle East you hang with, your oil baron friends and all that shit, don't like a world where people can generate their own energy.
I think it's a very bad thing. Environmentally, it's horrible, and in every way, it's bad. And you have to subsidize them. You know, they cost money. When you put them up, they cost money. Energy.
All right, fuck off. Now, again, I've said this before, but I think it bears repeating. When gas was chosen as the primary fuel, again, the first person ever to be hit by a car and killed by a car was killed by an electric car in San Francisco. Henry Bliss. But once gas-powered cars became a thing, the government had to subsidize oil and gas for these things to expand this out, just like the interstate highway system. You had to pay for, there to be a gas station everywhere. You had to subsidize the building of them. There weren't enough of them. And that's why in every 50s horror movie, running out of gas, including fucking Clue and Rocky Horror Picture Show, running out of gas was a primary plot point because there weren't gas stations like there are now, and the cars didn't go as far. Yes, electric was first. Totally true. Yeah, I call it the Gulf of Epstein didn't kill himself. So yeah, but we subsidized all these things to get them started, and we still subsidize gas. We still subsidize oil and gas, and the refining of it, the storage of it, all that kind of shit. We maintain a giant like store of oil on the taxpayer dime in case we need it later. If you had proper geothermal, solar, nuclear, and wind power, and hooked up to a smart grid, you wouldn't have to store fucking, hundreds of millions of gallons of oil in salt mines. What a dick.
Supposed to make money.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to lose money, and they lose a lot of money. And
yeah, nobody's ever lost money on gas and oil.
They're going to be abandoned already. They already are. They're being abandoned.
No, they are not.
And then nobody takes them down. They just stand up there and rust.
Yeah, they've got them everywhere.
So it's,
They've got them everywhere. Oh, yeah, they've got them everywhere. You know what they've got everywhere? The Epstein files.
I do mention that. They talk about, and I talked about immigration first, but I said,
yeah.
And by the way, while you're at it, get rid of the windmills.
Yeah. So what would you do?
Jesus Christ. These are your worries. A bunch of like Christian little girls wiped away in a fucking flood in Texas because you assholes Republicans didn't spend the money on a warning system like they should have. And floods that are getting increasingly worse in these areas, but because of climate change, you can't just wrap your fucking head around that at all. It's just like, God damn, these windmills, they're ruining my golf courses.
If you were president of the European Union, what would you change?
Well,
I'd make everybody speak English for one, because you can't speak another language.
I think the biggest thing that you could do is get a deal made like we did today.
Yeah.
You'd make a deal with yourself? If I was the leader of the EU, I'd do exactly what the leader of the EU is doing and already did, which hasn't been done, but I'm pretending was.
They're buying $750 billion worth of our energy. They're going to invest $600 or $650 billion.
Which is fucking nothing.
$1 billion into the United States, and they're going to invest probably $300 billion for the military, maybe $400 billion in military equipment separately.
Yeah.
Yes, that's going to Ukraine.
I mean, it's a massive deal for everybody. I think what they did is very smart.
They bullshitted you, is what he means. They tricked him.
A deal now with us, and it's going to bring us together. It's going to unite us. We'll work together, but it's numbers that nobody's ever heard of before.
And
yeah, they still haven't heard of them. We still haven't heard them.
We're sitting in Turnberry, your beautiful golf course here.
It's a dump, and it smells like cheese.
You're been playing golf with Eric, your son, and Don, and your two grandchildren, Chloe and Spencer.
Right.
And how was it for you? Like, you're back in your ancestral home, really, your mother's home. She was a McLeod from not far from here. How do you feel of that? Do you feel sort of Scottish and having three generations here?
Well,
no, he doesn't.
I've been here, and we have incredible
golf courses, properties. Golf courses with golf. There's golf. Apparently, it's a golf thing. You're going to talk about golf more?
Investments in Aberdeen.
Yes.
Aberdeen's actually the oil capital of Europe, but they should really let
by the way,
let that go, meaning let it go to town.
Yes.
Instead of doing all this other nonsense.
Yeah, instead of doing windmills, he's saying they really should, where he owns property in their golf courses, instead of building those ugly windmills, they should put oil rigs in the water off the coast of Scotland, so when he's playing the 18th hole of his other dump, he can see oil rigs. Jesus Christ. Has anybody, just a quick question, chat room, anybody been to, I'm sure there are people who've been to like the Carolinas and maybe even around parts of Florida or off the East Coast, but in out near Malibu, as high, as expensive as the land is in Malibu, and as well known as it is for being, granola's fucking city, there are oil rigs off the coast. If you drive up to Montecito, there are oil rigs along the California coast, and they're fucking hideous. They're just these big, rusty platforms sitting out there. They look like shit. And if you replace those things with a fucking windmill, it'd look gorgeous. If you had rows of them. Jesus Christ. Have you guys ever seen that? Like seen those out there? Like, it's just so, like, it fucks that up. And he's like, they should take down these windmills and put up big, oil platforms. What the fuck?
Because they have tremendous oil reserves in Aberdeen, and they should be doing that instead of focusing on other things that aren't so good.
Yeah.
But no, it makes me feel good. And Turnberry is long term. It's just this incredible place.
Yeah, he doesn't give a shit about ancestry or his fucking mom or his people. Did you understand? This is his answer to a question about his ancestral home and where his family came from. I didn't know. Check this out. Okay, so when I did the Fringe Festival, the year my son was born, I did the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, and at that point, I did not know I was a quarter Scottish. Yeah, handy girl, me too. I did not know I was a quarter Scottish. We just assumed we were almost entirely Irish and some English, right? And then a mix of other shit, because the Sparkses will fuck anybody. But we're equal opportunity offenders in that regard. But it turns out I'm a quarter Scottish from that period. And had I known that when I was in Edinburgh, it would have changed my experience of being there, right? It would I went to the Roslyn Chapel. I was, we're in just in the Edinburgh Castle and all that kind of stuff. Knowing that I was from there would have affected my experience being there, right? And his answer to, does it feel good being back in your ancestral home where your mom is from? Because she's really, and he's like, my mom, Jesus Christ, just buried my kid's mother on a fucking golf course. You think I give a shit? Like, his response is so fucking, he's just incapable of any of that kind of depth. Just can't. He just fucking can't.
In Aberdeen, I built something that's really special. The most beautiful land you've ever seen. And,
You did not build the land.
It makes me feel good. My mother was born in Scotland. She loves Scotland.
Yeah, the lady just said that. I'm fairly certain you just found out that your mom was from Scotland because she said it.
She was a big fan of the Queen, I have to tell you.
Yes, because Scottish people are huge fans of the Queen.
And anytime the Queen was on television, my mother liked watching. She said, "Oh, the Queen's on." So, she was a fan.
What I like is just the depth of the story. You know what I mean? Because it touches you. You really do get a picture of who he was, who she was. And their relationship. It's like a slice of life. I feel like I'm watching a fucking off-Broadway play, like a one-man show.
A lot of people are, and some people probably aren't in terms of the monarchy.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are.
And
Jesus Christ. Nothing. My God, man. I told you, no poetry. Think about yourself. Somebody, you're being interviewed. Somebody asks you, like, hey, this is where your mom is from. What comes to mind? Oh, yeah, she used to like the Queen. When the Queen was on, she'd go, oh, the Queen is on. I remember that. And some people like the Queen and some people don't. That's your answer. Think about that for a second. Think about yourself answering that question. Think about a story about your mom watching television and something came on that she liked or didn't like. Like, I'll give you an example. This is actually about my grandmother, my mom's mom. We were visiting her, and she loved boxing. And I watched the Muhammad Ali Foreman, I think it was the rematch, the one that was in the States, I think. Anyways, on her television. We came over to her house, and she had this little apartment. It was like, you walk in the front door, and it's just one of those things where there's like a sliding glass door at the end of the room, like condo, and her bedroom was here, and there's a little bathroom, and the kitchen's right here, and there's like a little countertop, and she had a little dining table, two couches like this, and a TV, and the TV was just this brown fucking old-fashioned 3 channel one, right? So I was like, you know, you could, you know, those rooms that you were in when you were a kid, and you know, whether you were in them 10 times or 1,000, you just know them. Okay, that's her place. And so we came in. She was in the middle of watching boxing, and she was like, "Sit down, I'm watching boxing." And it was a heavyweight fight, and so Ali and the other guy were just locking each other up. They just kept locking each other up because it was just a long fucking fight, and they were you know, holding each other, and she just kept calling it the love fight. She's like, you know, this is they're just doing the love fight right now. This is the love fight. They should call this the love fight. Because they weren't punching each other, they were hugging. Yes, my grandmother. Yes, I was the channel changer. That's right. Get up and change the channel. Right. He pants no. So that's like that immediately comes. You know, here's another story. My mom knew I loved Mad Magazine, and yeah, and obviously, and she would bring me Mad Magazine home because they would be at the nurse's office where she worked, and at the hospital where she worked part-time. They would, you know, they had magazines for the patients to read and stuff. And so they'd have Mad Magazine or whatever. And after they had it for a little while and it was coated with germs, she would bring it home. And I would get to have them. It didn't cost us anything. And so I have a big collection of Mad Magazine, and I have the books because eventually that became the gift that I wanted, right? I wanted the Mad Magazine, like the Don Martin books and all that kind of stuff. And so my mom would bring those home. But my mom, they would always have song parodies in them. You know, they would like sung to the tune of The Rose or whatever. Like they'd have a song in there, whether it was the Jaws spoof that they did or something. They would have like a song in them, but it would be sung to the tune of, and so you'd know these are the lyrics. They'd write comedy lyrics, and then but it would be the melody of whatever the hit song was. But the problem was, I was too young and I didn't know those songs. So my mom would sing Mad Magazine songs to me because she knew the original song, like the You Light Up My Life or whatever the song was. She would, so that's how my mom sang me to sleep, which explains a lot, right? Okay. Those are just 2 stories that immediately popped into my fucking head when thinking about my mom and my grandmother. And now I want you to listen again, and I want you to also think about what stories might have come up for you about your mother and your grandmother if somebody asked you a question.
Incredible place. In Aberdeen, I built something that's really special.
There's still a question about his mother.
The most beautiful land you've ever seen. And, you know, it's makes me feel good. My mother was born in Scotland. She loved Scotland. She was
She loved Scotland. He mentions that.
Fan of the Queen, I have to tell you. And anytime the Queen was on television, my mother liked watching. She said, "Oh, the Queen's on." So, you know, she was a fan. A lot of people are, and some people probably aren't in terms of the monarchy.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are.
And your mother's eye.
That's the answer. Jesus Christ. Who is that disconnected? He's a fucking sociopath. That's the only explanation. This is like, it's like something, if you interviewed a school shooter with a head injury, you know, in the prison hospice, and you're like, what do you remember about life before you turned awful?
Island of Lewis is well known as having the best black pudding in the whole of Scotland.
I heard that.
Do you like?
Yeah, from her just now. I heard that.
Black pudding.
Well, I don't know about black pudding. I've heard that about the, but I'll tell
you. Let me guess. You prefer tapioca for its beige color?
It says among the most beautiful landscapes you've ever seen.
I have property there. It's got beautiful landscape. I'm thinking about putting a golf course on my mother's fucking grave. Also, hold on. There we go. It's black pudding is blood sausage, and I want to show you a picture of it. Where is it? Let me get you a picture. Hold on. He has no idea what that is. I'm just gonna tell you. This is black pudding. This is It's blood sausage. And he probably thinks it's pudding that just happens to be black. You know, like his black friends, like his African American friends. They're pudding, but they just happen to be black, right? This is here you go. Hold on. Why is this freezing out? Why does it turn dark? Get out of here. Black pudding is a traditional blood pudding that is made of blood, generally pigs, suet, cereal, and spices. It's haggis. Sorry, hold on a second. It's haggis too. Where is this? Haggis is the same thing, but just without the blood. It's just like basically you take all the organs of the animal and some of the remnant meat and you put it in the belly and you mix it with some oatmeal and thicken it up. These people were fucking starving. So they came out, as Mike Myers said, I think most Scottish food is based on a dare. Suet, like for birds? Yes. Seeds? Yeah. He has no idea what black pudding is. No idea.
Lewis is well known as having the best black pudding in the whole of Scotland.
I heard that.
Do you like black pudding?
Well, I don't know about black pudding. I've heard that but I'll tell you, it says,
I don't know about black pudding, but I've heard that one thing about black pudding. Shut the fuck up!
Among the most beautiful landscapes you've ever seen, I'd say.
Yes, the land is strewn with black pudding. There's blood pudding everywhere you step. Maybe he thought it was chocolate pudding. He probably does. At best, that's what he thinks it is. He just doesn't like the word black, so he probably just wrote it off at that point.
Seriously Scottish. It is. In fact, I looked at a map. It's interesting. The Isle of Lewis. I looked, and to get there, it's just.
Let me guess. It's an island, so you have to take a boat. This is fucking terrible.
It's in a remote section.
Yeah.
When she...
A remote section. Well, it can't be that remote if it's still in a section.
Came to New York. She was a young girl of about 18 years old, and she came to New York. And she hadn't seen the world, and she met my father. And he was, a successful guy. He was a young guy, but he was a successful guy, doing well. He was building houses.
And she was beautiful.
And she was beautiful. She really was beautiful. She was a beautiful woman. And
okay, beautiful. You mean as in beautiful woman? Sorry, I thought you meant on a soul level or as a human being. But no. You mean aesthetically, she was pleasing to the eye, therefore good stock.
He came home that night. He said, to my grandmother, who was a fantastic person, my father's mother.
Yeah.
He said,
yes.
Well, I just met my wife.
Really?
Yeah, and he was about 32, so he was a little older. She said, when are you going to get married? But he was.
It's so touching, especially the dates and ages. Imagine that story I just told you about my grandmother, and I said, my grandmother, she had this apartment, and I really remember it well. It was in Rowan, Ohio, and she was like 80 something, and there were doilies. 3 of them. She had 3 doilies, I remember. Maybe 5, but 3, possibly 5 doilies. And we went over and she was like, oh, we should have food. And I was like, we would eat food. This is... Yeah, right. It's just amazing to have this like gap in like odd material details, like you're being quizzed. Like he's going to say, my grandfather came home and my father came home and said to my grandmother, who was his mother, person, woman, man, camera, TV. I remember that. No, I'll never forget that. It was on his deathbed. My father looked up to me and he said, person, woman, man, camera, TV.
A great guy, but he.
Hold on, sorry. He was a great guy.
Immediately knew. There's a great, the Scottish people are really amazing.
Yeah, they're really well known for love at first sight, sort of. They're really amazing in that if you're gonna marry one, you know immediately. It must be in their genes. They're amazing that way. The men wear skirts.
And they're great fighters too. That's why England sort of never.
Yeah, Braveheart.
Braveheart, one of the great
Yeah, Braveheart.
movies of all time, but England had a hard time with.
He never finished it. I'm sure he's seen pieces of Braveheart because Mel Gibson hangs around. He's never fucking seen it. Like, all the way through. Where they fucking tear open, sorry, spoiler alert, William Wallace's, they basically cut him from stem to stern. I doubt Trump even understood any of it.
Scotland.
Yeah.
They couldn't quite tame them.
It's the first time I've been here. They're just such lovely people,
Yeah, they're
aren't
great
they?
people. No, they're great. No crime. You don't have crime. You don't have mugging.
People are too far apart.
You don't have people getting hit over the head when they're not looking with the baseball bat.
No, they have a thing there called glassing. Hold on. Fuck you. Hold on. Yeah, that's a thing about dad blinded in glass attack calls for law changes. Father of two blinded in an unbelievably terrifying attack and a night out is called for remains unable to see after he was glassed in the face by a stranger in a Leeds venue in 27th of December. Is this the Irish? This is Leeds, and there we go. Hold on. He was a rugby player. Glassing is where it's a Scottish thing. Let's see. Tonteg. Yeah. A glassing attack, also known as bottling. Yeah, here you go. This is similar to what happened when I was there, but this is a 2015 one. Actually, I should scroll this up for you a second. This is what's big in Edinburgh, in Scotland. Man glassed in face in Edinburgh bar attack. A man has been seriously injured after being glassed in the face, and that is where they take a pint glass, smash it on a fucking table so that it's a round, like, shattered glass with like all these things, and they drive it into your fucking face. That bottling is the same. When they take that and they take a bottle, smash the end of it so that it's sharp, and instead of jabbing you like this, they grind it in your face. It's a circular attack on your face. Yeah. 30-year-old man was confronted by 4 men, then assaulted by one of them in the Regent Bar in Montrose Terrace. Police described the attack as a deplorable and completely unprovoked and said the man would be left with permanent scarring to his face. The man was taken to Edinburgh Royal Infirmary and has since been released. Badly shaken. The first suspect who was responsible for the attack was described as white and of Mediterranean appearance. He was between 5'4" and 5'8" in his early 30s. He had a slight build, brown eyes, short hair, wearing a blue jumper. Second suspect, mid-30s, heavy muscular build, brown hair, was wearing a dark jumper and trousers. These are their descriptions. This was a deplorable and completely unprovoked attack on an innocent man who was out for New Year with his wife and friends. As a result of the attack, the victim was badly shaken and left with permanent scarring to his face. Yeah, you don't see shit and none of that awful crime. I mean, like, does this fucker know? Well, let's be honest. He never goes to any of the cities. He never goes to any of the towns. He goes to his fucking golf course, flies in and flies out. He doesn't know.
They're not pushed into a subway if they had them.
Yes.
Which they don't.
They don't have one.
Not New York.
You wouldn't have them pushed into a subway.
Okay. All right. I'm annoyed now. I'm getting aggravated. Hold on. Hold on, I'm gonna try to do a news one. I want to see. This was 2024. That's the Independent. That's in England. Oh, Scotland. Ah, there you go. There you go. 2 teens dead and 11 injured in spate of youth knife incidents. In the period between the two fatal attacks, STV News reported on 12 alleged knife incidents involving youths and 16 teenagers arrested. 2 teenagers have died and 11 injured during a spate of knife incidents involving youths over the last 2 months. On March 5th, Amin Tekle was found with serious wounds believed to be inflicted with a blade on Glasgow's Clarendon Street. 15-year-old was pronounced dead at the scene. A major murder investigation is launched following the incident. Officers arrested 3 boys aged 16, 15, and 14 in connection with his death. Just over 10 weeks after the incident, Caden Moy was found seriously injured on Irvine Beach on Saturday after an alleged stabbing. The 16-year-old was taken to the hospital. He died the next day. A 17-year-old boy from East Kilbride appeared in private at the sheriff court in connection with the death. He was charged with murder, attempting to pervert the course of justice, and carrying an offensive weapon in public space. In the period between the 2 fatal attacks, they reported 12 alleged knife incidents involving youth, 16 teenagers arrested and or charged. 4 days after Amon's death, a 13-year-old boy was charged in connection with wielding a knife outside an Asda store in Bishop Briggs. During the same day, a 16-year-old boy was taken to the hospital after an alleged stabbing on Lindsay Avenue in Livingston. A 14-year-old girl was charged in connection with a stabbing. 2 days later, 3 teenagers were hospitalized at a reported knife attack near Portobello Beach. Officers charged a 21-year-old man. Officers were called to Hazelhead Academy in Aberdeen on April 24th after a girl aged 12 was injured during an alleged knife incident. A 14-year-old girl was the one who stabbed her. Allegedly, a day prior to the reported fatal stabbing, Caden, a 17-year-old, is believed to have been attacked with a blade at Portobello Beach. Officers charged a 16-year-old boy with attempted murder following the disturbance. He's since appeared in court. 14-year-old boy has also been charged with possession of a weapon during the incident. During Eamon and Caden's death, 3 knife incidents at primary schools in Scotland were reported. Yeah, this fucking, it's so nice. It's you don't even have these things, do you now? It's so funny. It's like a fairyland. If you only stick to the golf courses that are members only and completely surrounded by Secret Service. Eh?
Way.
No.
No, it's a different kind of a place.
And do you feel an affinity here? Do you feel?
I do. I feel so great. And to have this property, because this is a very iconic
Jesus Christ. It's all about selling the fucking golf
property.
course.
This was originally built many years ago by the railroads, which were great
the barons,
wealth. That was the big wealth, the railroads. And they built a few resorts. This was the biggest of them all at the end of the line. And, to own it.
You know, I gotta say, I feel a little better knowing that Trump is currently at the end of the line.
It's one of the great iconic properties in the world.
Yeah, that doesn't tell us about your fucking history or your life or your experiences, like the soul of the place. Like, you look at it. I mean, just look at it. It looks expensive, doesn't it? Did this happen today? This was yesterday.
And we just had
It premiered today. Yes, it premiered yesterday. So they filmed it probably Sunday, maybe?
Press conference in your grand ballroom
2 days ago.
Right.
And is that the sort of ballroom you're going to build at the White House?
Yeah, so I built a ballroom at Turnberry that really is beautiful. It's
right. He's remodeling the Epstein room at the White House. The one that allegedly, remember, the reason Epstein showed up a bunch of times because he was part of a group of people that were, pledging funds to rebuild the ballroom. And now Trump is going to, maybe it's where he's going to bury all the Epstein evidence in a fit of just fucking irony.
It's one of the great places.
Oh, he wants to dig up the ground because that's where Epstein hid all the stuff. And that's what it is. Okay, now we figured it out. It took all this, but okay. So the reason he's remodeling the ballroom at the White House is because he wants to dig up the ground under the old one, because that's where Jeffrey Epstein hid a bunch of of his compromat, and they just found that out because of the raid, and all that stuff is in there, and so they're hoping that they can dig it up and get rid of it. Yeah, there you go. All right.
Of Scotland now. It's just a tremendous business because this is a location that sort of everyone comes
to. Weddings.
Well, it's also known, it's a little bit like, I don't know what it is, but
yeah, nobody does.
It seems to be a little warmer and better, and the weather's good. And
the view's
it's one
amazing.
of the reasons, yeah. So I added on a ballroom, which we finished
oh my God, this is so fucking boring.
3 years ago.
Wow, you don't say. 3 years ago. Very exciting. So you remodeled one of your properties? Cool. When did this become like the dumbest episode of HGTV ever?
And it's a beautiful room. I said I could take that room right now and place it down next to the White House. So in the White House, as you know, for 150 years, they've wanted to have a ballroom. They don't have a ballroom. They have meeting rooms. They have those beautiful, you've interviewed me in those rooms.
Yes.
But they have beautiful meeting rooms, but they never had a ballroom. A ballroom meaning someplace they could sit 600 or 700 people.
Yes.
If the president of China or France or UK.
Yeah, that's why you have those people over at the Congress, or you use a private venue. That's kind of the point. It's a residence. It's not a fucking entertainment venue.
Or Ursula comes to town. You give them a big state dinner. We don't have a room like that.
Yes, they do. Just not for 600 fucking people. And why would you? All right.
At the White House, they have to use a tent. And if it's raining, it's soaking wet, soggy. The area is a very low area. All the water rushes to it.
Or they use one of the congressional facilities or one of the bigger rooms over at the Capitol building.
And
they have a lot of big rooms over there.
A disaster. So I said, if I win this second term, I'm going to build a ballroom, beautiful ballroom for the White House. And
yes, I look forward to the next president doing to it what you've done to the Rose Garden.
Actually have a really beauty, but that's a beauty right there. I said I could take that right now and put
it's
it
enormous. 8 chandeliers.
It's a beautiful room, and it's a very successful room. And they need that.
It's a very successful room in terms of wall and roof.
White House, they can't do the kind of things that they'd like to do. Their big room, which is really a beautiful reception room, but not as a ballroom.
So how long will it take to finish that ballroom?
So we'll start in 2 months, maybe 2.5 months.
2 weeks.
And we'll have it completed in less than 2 years.
Wow.
It's a very incredible story.
Oh, so you won't live to see the end of it. I see. Gotcha. All right.
Sure. I mean, a lot of it's
By the way, I'm not threatening or wishing ill on him. I'm just stating the obvious.
Interior work. It's going to be beautiful. I'd rather, because normally I could build a building like that in 4 or 5 months.
Right, but most buildings that you build don't have to last, are shitty and ugly, and certainly don't have to be secure.
But it's very intricate inside. It's beautiful.
Right.
Beautiful.
It's very intricate, is it? Is it? It's like a maze. It's
marbles. It'll be a great tribute to the White House. It's going to be something. But they've wanted it for 150 years. And
really? Did they grind on it 150 years ago? They're like, I just don't have room to dance.
Other presidents have talked about it, but it never got done.
Oh, you're the builder, the first builder.
Yeah, they did talk about it. They're like, what kind of an asshole would put a ballroom on the White House? Like that kind of conversation?
Builder.
Yeah.
I know how to do it.
And
we talked about it. I just talked about it. I've been talking about it for a long time. Like, what kind of a dickhead thinks the White House needs a ballroom? What do? Rent it out for weddings?
Sitting in this lovely...
He probably would. Or, I mean, I guess in the case of his kids, like divorces or something.
Room next to the ballroom with a view out over the Irish Sea. And there's a big rock out there that's called Paddy's Milestone because it's...
Yeah, because if you sit on it, you get paddies, which is like piles.
Halfway to Ireland.
Right.
Now, who went to Ireland but Rosie O'Donnell to escape you?
Bad.
So are you...
I feel so badly for them. No, she's so bad. But...
Are you happy she's gone? And Ellen DeGeneres?
I mean, I don't think of it. It's funny. I did Ellen's show numerous times, but, they just get into the mood, I guess. It's, I don't know.
Yeah, it must be the women thing. They get into the mood. Do you think you'd ever say that about men? I'm just saying. Right. Men, sometimes, they get into the mood.
I don't know what's happened to them.
I think it might have something to do with your horrifying attack on women's rights and them being women, and just kind of I'm just spitballing.
You take a look at them, it's like, what's going on?
Trump derangement.
But it's Trump derangement syndrome. But you don't know why. I mean, the country's doing better. As I said, it's the hottest country in the world right now.
If you don't care about, women dying in childbirth, for example.
And you'd think they'd be happy, and I sort of, with a little fun, said, well, we're thinking.
What he means, by the way, you'd think they'd be happy. What he means is they're rich and I've lowered taxes for rich people. They should shut the fuck up and enjoy their money.
About not allowing Rosie back into the country because she's very bad for our country and things, and she's gone crazy. No, she's a different kind of a person.
She's more famous than she ever was.
Oh, she's probably doing better than she ever did. Yeah, she never did great, but she's doing better than she ever did.
Yeah.
It's sort of funny. I guess it really...
She's doing great because she is a vocal opponent of yours. Right? That works. That's not... Is that thought going through both of their heads right now?
The big moment was the debate. When we had the debate, and I said, only Rosie O'Donnell. When they mentioned lots of bad things, I said, only Rosie O'Donnell.
And the whole audience burst into laughter.
But it's funny. You're right. She may be doing better than ever before. Maybe that's...
No, the whole audience didn't. His side.
It's okay.
That's it. That's all right. Well, I'm at the end of the show. There's more of it, I guess. But did she do... Yeah, she went more... We'll pick up more of that tomorrow because nobody needs more than that slice of it in the interim, and I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much. Who is this blood sausage? Right. Now I'm going to go have some blood sausage and have a lovely evening, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else. And in honor of the true heroes of Scotland, I will play my outro theme that is, I'm falling in love with more every day. Aye, that. Erin Gobra. Slancha. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you, chat room. Hold on, let me scroll this over here. Hit that like, share the show, etc. Oh, there might be that kind of pie tomorrow. It's a possibility. That special kind of pie. It's got a certain kind of thing in it. What is it? Oh, I that.
Hail to the king, baby. Groovy.
We've got entirely too many troublemakers here.
Oh, nice Mormon. I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes. Did IQs just drop sharply while I was away?
This man's obviously a lunatic. I'm calling security.
He's genius, eh?
Negative function.
Well, stupid, are you ready?
We're cake for nothing! Oh, God, that's all I need!
I know it's a bit silly. Just a moment. Just a moment.
Thanks for subscribing, you guys. Really appreciate it. Thanks for the gifted subs as well. Look at that. Look at the subscribers. We're going to get our numbers up after all. I've got hope. And members, too. People joining on Twitch. This is amazing. And on YouTube, get out of here. Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow.